Ascension. For those who are new, please go back to the first webcast where I talk about what the ascension is and how it really works. And so because of this splitting of the old grid system and the onset of the new system, meaning the old grid and the new grid make it that there's an old reality and a new reality, an old paradigm and a new paradigm. So the way this affects our physical brain, like I said in the last webcast, mentally, we have to, because our physical brain is connected to the earth grid, then we have to adjust to the old and the new. And when we talk about ascension, we are then, it happens on many levels. It's not just this one thing, because again, many people talk about this, have different definitions of this term. So I've explained that the ascension happens gradually. It's not you are here and suddenly you float up in space and you disappear and you have ascended. I mean, that could happen, but that's not what I'm talking about. The ascension is part of the continuation of life flow. Life flow comes through your physical body to have a human experience and then continues into a next cycle. So the ascension starts to happen first energetically when we start to tune into the next awareness, the next layer of reality, the next higher frequencies in consciousness. And so that's the energetic level. Then it is more on a mental level where your actual mind channels, your physical brain has mind channels like sparks of energy coming out of your physical brain. And all of these, the mind channels start to change and start to unplug from the old earth grid and replug into the new earth grid. So, and what happens and the way this affects us is we feel a little bit in limbo, but we also feel in a mental way that we cannot concentrate and we cannot kind of tune into the new higher frequencies quite yet. But once that happens, once we have completely plugged into the new frequency on a mental level and all our mind channels have switched from the old grid to the new grid, then and only then can you achieve the physical ascension, meaning you actually leave your physical form. So, physical form. So, this could also happen in many different ways. The ascension, the true definition of ascension is that when you have completed the human cycle of incarnation, you have mastered the human condition to a point that your human cells are vibrating at their original vibrational frequency. And if that is the case, this means that they are circling around, vibrating around a 0 point. The 0 point of every single cell aligns all your organs of all of your entire body and keeps it in an alignment that allows it to then transcend the physical form in a natural way. This means that your cells are vibrating at a frequency that is coherent with the universal frequency, galactic frequency, and universal frequency, so that simply by shifting your consciousness, you can continue to vibrate higher and higher and higher your physical cells, and they basically dissolve into another form, and you basically dissolve, you disappear. Okay, so this is the true or the real full kind of ascension in a physical sense. But of course, we're not all there yet. This means that you have such control over your physical cells and your physical body that you can, in fact, do that. And I'm sure most of us are not there yet. And so what happens is we can get to as much control as possible, so to speak. And you can, let's say you can master 80%, okay? You don't master 100%, but you master 80%. So that's pretty good. So, but the thing is, what happens is you cannot then transcend by the way of dissolving. You have to shed a part of your body and then transcend. And so what this means is that the 80% of your physical body that you have fully mastered, that part of your consciousness can ascend. But the other 20%, so to speak, is still a part of your consciousness that remains with a physical body, with your physical body, and has to be dropped, left behind on the earth. And that's how, people die. And so the idea is that you have as little left as possible. That's the idea, because it means that you have pretty much mastered all of the human condition. And so that's the reason why most people will shed their body and then ascend to where they came from, to their original form, and go straight back into their original configuration and to their original home. If your original home is in the Pleiades, then that allows you to go straight back to the Pleiades. But maybe you came from another galaxy or something. So then this form of ascension allows you to go back directly to your other galaxy, and so on and so forth. And so that's how the ascension works. So the goal is, or the idea is, the less you leave behind, then it's like you don't have a reason to come back, because it's still part of your consciousness. And that's the reason why you complete a human cycle. You are no longer required to come back to finish off basically the part of your consciousness that is still left behind. So that's where we are. The idea is to then transcend as much of our consciousness as possible. But what is happening at this particular time, that's why this is also relevant. This has to do with the awakening, with the human mastery, with all of that stuff. But at the same time, because this timing on the earth is so unique, and there is this split, so to speak, between the old paradigm and the new paradigm, ascension in this particular case is like there's an additional point, an additional way, or there's an additional thing that is happening at this time on the earth. What's happening is that a lot of the people who normally require a lot more incarnation in order to master the human condition and complete their ascension, their physical ascension, will be able to kind of speed things up, so to speak, so that they can transmute the old frequencies, the old the aspect of their consciousness that is still trapped into the old paradigm. So what I'm saying is, everything we've been talking about since the beginning of this conversation and the last webcasts is that this splitting of the two earths, so to speak, the old paradigm, the new paradigm, is allowing most humans to transcend the human configuration in a new way. So it's almost like there is a new, this new paradigm that is appearing, is allowing most of you to transcend, even if you have not completed your human cycle. Do you understand the importance of this? Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say I have come to the earth to master the human condition, the fear of dying, the fear of illness, the fear of not having money, and all that stuff, right? And then at the end of my year, at the end of my life, I have only completed 40% of this mastery. So normally, under normal circumstances, I have to come back or remain in this human configuration and reincarnate until I do better. I get at 60 and 80, and eventually after several incarnations, maybe 1,000, I'm not sure, then I can complete my ascension cycle. But because right now there is this very unusual event happening on the earth, with this splitting up of the consciousness of the earth, the splitting up of the earth grid system, with the new paradigm appearing, I'm going to be able to speed things up and achieve a lot more in a shorter time. And maybe by the time at the end of my physical life, instead of ending up at 40% where I normally should, I'm going to be able to be at 80%. It's almost like I've skipped 500 lives on the earth because of what's happening. And the reason is I will be able to achieve more. I will be able to tune into, and I am already connecting with kind of like the future me. It's kind of like you are fast forwarding. You're skipping some steps that normally should have taken place. Does that make sense? And so that's why this information and understanding what is happening is very, very important to you individually, as an individual consciousness. This has to do, if you understand the global picture, if you understand what's going on with the earth, how the earth grid affects reality, affects consciousness, and how it's connected to your individual consciousness, and why this timing on the earth is so unique. This has never been done before in this way. In fact, this would be an opportunity for you to plug into the new paradigm with the new earth grid configuration and skip many thousands of lifetimes that would normally be required. So you are ascending to a much higher frequency very fast because of this. But at the same time, what is happening is that what we call ascension is not just that you're completing the earth cycle, and I explain how that is changing because of what is happening on the earth. But also this allows you to return to your original home in a direct way, meaning you have the ability to return to your original formula and your original home, whereas without necessarily completing the additional 20% or what have you. So not only have you sped up, you have fast forwarded from 40 to 80, but when you are ready to leave at 80%, for example, you can exit the earth consciousness as if you would have completed the 100%. Does that make sense? So this is a very, very unusual, very unique timing on the earth. And the reason being that, all of this, the reconfiguring of the earth itself is allowing you to go about your own incarnation cycle and take advantage, so to speak, of this reconfiguration of the whole planet and the planetary system to allow you to increase your ability or to change your ability into a new way to exit or advance into your own consciousness expansion. Do you realize how important, how unique that is? And in fact, that is one of the reasons why most of you have chosen to come at this time. Not only have you said, I want to be there, I want to see this splitting, this shifting, and these 3D manifestation of this shift with my own 3D eyes, which is what is happening. We are seeing the actual Earth axis shifting, land moving, land appearing, land disappear. All of this is physical evidence. We are seeing physical evidence. It's almost surreal to have one country after another collapse its government within a period of a month. It's pretty amazing time. And so not only have you said, I want to be there in physical form at that time, But in the bigger picture of your own individual consciousness, this particular time is allowing you then to ascend in a very unique way and to expedite, so to speak, your ascension process. Okay?